if somebody knew where she was at and the amount of money that is out there for reward, money talks, and people that know something will say something, you know, and we haven't heard anything from this young girl at all, and nobody seems to know where she's at, and, you know, the father needs to be pressured more to talk about what happened to his child, and even the stepmother, because those are the only two at this point that know what happened to his child.
Big breaking news tonight in Manchester, New Hampshire. The search for Harmony Montgomery, the 5-year-old little girl who went missing back in 2019, but wasn't reported missing until 2 years later. 2 years later. Well, now they're searching an apartment that her father and stepmother used to live in. They've taken a refrigerator, they've removed it from that apartment. They've checked down in the sewer system in front of that apartment with a camera down in the manhole. And we've got a news release today from law enforcement and authorities right now who are doing this investigation. Attorney General John M. Formella, Manchester Police Chief Alan D. Aldenberg, United States Marshal Enoch F. Willard, and Joseph R. Bonavolanta, Special Agent in charge of the Federal Bureau of Investigation Boston Division, announced further information regarding the ongoing search at 644 Union Street in Manchester. Specifically, investigators are expected to remain on scene into the evening. The residents of the area are thanked for their patience as this investigative work continues. In order to protect the integrity of the ongoing investigations, officials will not be disclosing what items are being sought and what, if any, evidence is located. Officials also caution against any speculation related to items being removed. The search for Harmony continues, and law enforcement is still requesting the public's assistance in locating her. If you have any information, please call or text the 24-hour tip line dedicated to Harmony Montgomery's rescue. The number is 603-203-6060. But this is a big development tonight. What leads to a development like this? Let's bring back in Bobby Chacon, former FBI special agent. Bobby, you know, this is a case, and we've seen law enforcement, you know, from the beginning when they started the investigation, they were 2 years behind right when this thing started because nobody reported that little girl missing. They've been playing catch up. Does tonight's search and confiscation of the refrigerator and the search in the sewer lines, does that give you some hope that they are moving forward, perhaps based on some good information?
It absolutely does, Vinny. You don't take a step like this unless you have, you know, you can see the manpower that's being expended and the resources that are being expended here. And so you don't take a step like that lightly. You don't disrupt a neighborhood like that lightly. I think that they have good information. Now, the interesting thing is if there was a search warrant, they would have to fill out an affidavit and bring it to a judge to get the right to search that apartment. However, since there's somebody new living in there, if there are new tenants, I assume there are, they might have got a consent search, which wouldn't require an affidavit or a search warrant. The people just simply consent to the search because they're not you know, parties of the crime, and they're not suspects of the crime and stuff. So it'd be interesting to see how they got permission, either consent or through a search warrant, because if it's a search warrant in the affidavit, you have to kind of list why you think there's evidence in this place you want to search. And so you have to lay out certain things, not everything, but you have to lay out a minimum amount for the judge to sign a search warrant. And so it'd be interesting to know if this is a consent search or search warrant. But you can tell that the resources that are expended, these things aren't done lightly. These things are done when you develop enough information to believe we have to take this step. We have to go there now, and we have to, you know, remove the refrigerator. I mean, these are big steps to take, and to disrupt this neighborhood, to put the camera down, to get the public works people out there. This is a large operation, and it's not taken lightly. It's done when you feel you have some really reliable information to lead you in that direction.
All right, for those of you who don't know, folks, Bobby Chacon, also a lawyer as well. Bobby, here's the situation, right? We've got Kayla Montgomery charged with perjury very recently, okay? And I've always said I don't believe in coincidences. She is now facing some new charges, and all of a sudden there's a brand new search. She was living in that apartment. It seems to me it's not a stretch that perhaps they've gotten some new information from someone very close to the case, someone very close to Harmony's dad.
You're right, Vinny, and this isn't exactly the type of investigative step one might take. You look at the perimeter of the case, and you look at on the periphery who is there that might have information, and then how do we get pressure on that person? So you know, if they're a criminal in other matters, you charge them with stuff like, you know, like her dad has been charged with things that are unrelated to this case, but it's to put pressure on the people involved. So pressure on her, pressure on the dad, you know, and see who cracks first, and see she was living in that apartment, and now they're looking for evidence clearly in that apartment. You're right. It doesn't take a lot to understand that there may be information. They had to get that information from somewhere. The best way you get that information is somebody that was there and saw it. That's firsthand knowledge, and you can use that in a search warrant affidavit or in a consent search, certainly. But you're right. I mean, exactly that. They have been maybe kind of picking off people on the perimeter of the situation to put pressure on them to see if they have anything to say. And you're right. The coincidences are very rare, you know, in life, and maybe this isn't a coincidence.
And again, when the FBI is seizing an item, right? Do you go in on like a general search? Okay, we want to search the apartment, and then you just start grabbing things. And if you do, is a refrigerator a thing that you would normally grab?
No, in fact, if it's a search warrant, you have to list the exact things. There's a requirement in a search warrant called specificity. You have to be specific in where you're going to look and what you're looking for. So in other words, if I'm looking for a big axe, I can't look in a little drawer like this. A search warrant doesn't let me do that. A search warrant has to have specificity, so you have to specify in there what you're looking for and why you're looking for that stuff before a judge will sign off on it. And so it's very specific in there what you can take. And so, you know, if you list, we're going to take anything that could possibly hold human remains, obviously a refrigerator would do that. If there's other containers in there that might do that, you might take those as well. But you do have to lay out specifically in a search warrant. Now, if it's a consent search, it's a little different. But if in a search warrant, you have to list the things, where you're going to look, and why you believe the evidence is in those things. And so that's why it would be very interesting to look at a search warrant affidavit, is if in fact they used a search warrant in this case.
Yeah, and my guess, my gut tells me they do use a search warrant, even if they don't need it, just to cover themselves, right? A case this high profile, a case that is this difficult, you want to dot the I's, cross the T's. Why not get the search warrant if you have the basis for it?
Absolutely, and that does give you that extra layer of protection. It also will give us later on, when they unseal it, when we can read that affidavit, to see exactly what they believed was in there and why they believed it was in there, and that will lay out that story that we're thinking about now. All
right. We'll have more on this next hour, and we'll be talking about it tomorrow night as well. Bobby Chacon, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in last minute for us, giving us such incredible insight tonight. Thank you, sir.
Anytime for you, Vinny. Thanks.
All right.